So the dialog node will always appear inside of a dialog graph. If I go back out, you can see I'm inside of a dialog graph. I just double click to enter, and here it is. Right now the speaker is not set, it's set to unknown. There's nothing being said, and there's no images or sounds or anything. But what we can do here is we can begin by selecting which kind of a speaker we'd like. We can specify from a list. We can use any enemy in the game or any enemy you create to speak. Use any character you create or any character in the game to speak. And you can automatically use the party leader, whoever that might be currently, to speak. And in any case, when you're selecting the enemy character or party leader, and even the specifics, it's going to use all of their speaker data, which can include sounds, it can include text sounds, and it can also include different emotion images. The entity which triggered event option is only important if this is a triggered dialog graph. That would be one that appears inside of combat. And so, for instance, if an entity is starting their turn, that would be the entity that speaks. For now, let's just select the dingbat. Bring up the good old dingbat. Right here, we can set our emotions. So we can go angry, happy, sad, surprised. Or you can also override the images here. So I can look for dingbats, and I can select a spooky dingbat if I wanted to. You can also, of course, use absolutely any image there. So it could be that he's holding up some kind of a document. You can show the document, and you can add sound effects here that are unique to this cue. The dialogue here that you would select is typically going to be voice, but it doesn't have to be voice. It can just be a sound effect. If I was bringing up that document, I could bring up a paper rustling sound there. But you can also choose from any of the other lists that we have here. So the game node data description will have a lot of sound effects for you to use. You can use projectile impacts and launches, equipment sounds, if somebody's handling a weapon, that sort of thing. And then possibly the most important part is what is being said. So here you would just simply type out whatever you want your character to say. So for this choice dialogue, what you're actually looking at here is only something that would come up if you didn't want to show the entire dialogue that's going to be said inside of a branch. So what I've set up here is just a branch that the player will be able to choose from. So when the dingbat says hello, they get the option to run away or talk. In both cases, I'm not actually going to show what the dialogue says until after they've selected the choice. So the dingbat says hello. I'm given the option to talk or run. Let's say that we talk to him, and then we see what is actually held in the dialogue. Just a couple other things to note here. We have the speaker name override, so it could be Spooky Dingbat if I wanted to name him the Spooky Dingbat here. It could say document if he was presenting the document, etc., etc. And then you have the ability to append flag changes to the dialogue. And what that means is that if we're adding a flag, let's say that we're incrementing the hour by 1 here, and I wanted to show that, I would show the change. If I wanted to show the change in new total, that option is there too. The default is none.